These hens have been rescued. They were going for slaughter because they weren't laying enough eggs. They'd had a 12-hour journey in a truck when I picked them up, and then the next day put them out into their enclosure. Yeah, so I put them into the box and then I opened the door.
Is that your first time you've seen daylight? Come on, there, do it. Look at you pecking the grass. And another one.
And one stayed in. I think I brought the final one out myself because she wasn't coming out. It made me cry at first. I was just crying last night, just seeing them, enjoy themselves and to think where they'd come from. I was in tears. But look how brave they're being. They're bald. They've all pecked each other bald on the back. You can see all the skin showing, and they've had the beaks clipped. Apparently it was a free-range farm that they came from, a factory farm. Free range basically can mean not in a cage, so there can be 30,000 in one barn. So there's the smell and there's the noise, and I think it's frustration that they peck each other, and obviously their feathers come out with being pecked. They just look like chicken you see in the supermarket where the feathers have gone. It's really sad. But yeah, I'm hoping they'll just slowly grow the feathers back. So my husband named the hens after the 3 degrees. We were originally just getting 3. So Sheila, Linda and Janet. So they've changed from being just cowering and frightened and snuggling up all together, and then they're out just having a great time. Look at the little eyes looking. Tuk, 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 tuk. Very inquisitive, aren't they? You wanted to peck me? You're very nice. There is always the one who doesn't eat at the same time as the others, didn't come out at first, so maybe it's just the pecking order, and I'll just have to keep an eye on that. This is enough for them now, but once they realise that this is home, I'll let them out. There's 1/3 of an acre. I don't think it'll be long and they'll be able to run around in the whole field. Hey. The combs have stood up, which is good. That's a sign of happiness and health. I really love hens because they're so inquisitive and friendly and intelligent. People think because they've got small heads that they must have no brain, but these immediately have learnt where the food's kept. They know when I've got a different scoop, that means that that's the treat food rather than the other food. They learnt so much so quickly, more than just innate behaviour. They're very intelligent.
Come on, treat time. Put some in there.
The hens have been here for more or less exactly a month, and they couldn't have come at a worse time really because it's just freezing. I'll just check the water's defrosted. Come on then. See, they always try to peck the engagement ring. Come on, they like a kiss, don't you? So nice, aren't you? Hey? Go back down then. With your friends. You can see this one's growing her feathers there. Can you see all the black roots of the feathers coming out? So she's growing them back. So they're so inquisitive and curious about everything. And so nice that they like people. I'd say to anyone, how can you ignore this? How wonderful they are and friendly and inquisitive. How can anyone say that they're not and that you'd want to harm them? You're very friendly, aren't you? Hey? I'm just looking at that one, looks like it's got a sore bottom. Keep an eye on her. Yeah, but you see, this is it. They were bred to give too many eggs.
selective breeding is where an attribute that is beneficial to humans and profit is exaggerated, so you're moving further away from what's natural and what's good for them, and it's all in the name of profit, really. And apparently hens in the wild would lay 13 eggs a year, and so we've selectively bred them to lay 300 a year. As a woman who's given birth, I can imagine the strain. Well, it makes me wince a bit, the thought of what that would do to my body. We spend too much time looking at them out this window. It makes your heart feel nice, and just to know that they're enjoying themselves. But it's great to see this natural behaviour. Look at them all in that bucket. I can't wait for spring and for them to feel the warm on the back and enjoy life even more. You're always on your own, aren't you? Duck, duck. Come on. Duck, duck. Duck, duck.
I'm just letting you know that one of the hens had to be put to sleep at the vet's last week. Do you know the one that had the little bit of red on its bum? It turned into a prolapse the next day. I was very sad and crying. Had she been in a barn with thousands of other hens, no one would have seen that prolapse and she'd have died in agony. But at least I can think she'd had that month of lovely, lovely time.
These hens weren't in the worst situation, it wasn't a great situation, and it still needed a big improvement. But then you look at how bad it does get. So the caged hens, they call it enriched cages, but they're still crammed, the beaks are still trimmed, and they're walking on wire, which must be painful for them, and automatically fed and still very, very, very cramped. How tragic and terrible and cruel it is to have them in cages. I believe that free range isn't great, but let's start with banning cages, because absolutely awful. I do as much campaigning as I can, and it's not just petitions, it's being out on the streets with banners and things, so leafleting people. I think it's, again, creating an awareness. I've been down to the Houses of Parliament and lobbied my MP about banning cages for hens. So they've progressed a lot in how they look, and the feathers have come back, and the tail feathers are really starting to develop, and the little personalities are starting to come through as well. One of them, the one that I pet the most, she knows that now and comes to me to be petted. She's bottom of the pecking order, so I make her special. They're wonderful to watch, and they put their heads on the side and know when we're looking out of the window and come and communicate with us and peck on the windows, and they're just very, very bright and wonderful and friendly. It makes me sadder and more determined that I should create an awareness that the cruelty shouldn't be happening, especially caged hens. All the time I think, well, look at you having this lovely life, and think of the caged hens and what it must be like for them. The hens give us joy because they're so comical and funny, and so we get a lot of joy. I don't know whether I'd ever want to be without watching them outside of the window, but also make me want to fight for hens even more.